This is Lolly with a design team project for AUNTY Scrap and Craft design team. And I was looking at the material she gave me, and this is a January project, and I'm looking at these papers by Simple Stories, and they're all New Year's based. And I thought I wanted to use them and some confetti and fireworks dies here to make a project to decorate a clipboard. So I got this two-set clipboard pack by Recollections at Michael's. I think it was about $7 or $8 for the set. I can't recall it now, but I did use a coupon. Okay, so I have the larger one unwrapped. I'm going to slide this aside, and I think I'm going to use this sheet, and I think I'm going to take off the countdown, put that on the left side, and have the rest of this be this confetti look. So I'm still debating. See how we do. Now when I do clipboards and I decorate them and I make them bumpy, but I want to use the clipboard, if it's bumpy and you use a piece of paper and then you start writing, then it's bumpy and I don't like that. So what I tend to do is I tend to decorate the back and seal it on one that I want to actually use. This is going to be more of a decorative on display kind of clipboard. So I am going to cut off part of this and see what I have. Okay, so here's what I'm noticing. This is a 12-inch paper. It's a little short of the full length of the clipboard. So what I think I'm going to do is to go ahead and move it up to the top, and then I will put a border across the bottom. I think that's going to work for me. But I think if I do this on the top and that along the side, that's going to give me the image I want. Or another option would be to butt the paper up against the arm here, like that. It covers the bottom completely. And then I still have this room at the top, but it's very difficult when you're paper piecing to get around these without making a pattern. I could just go ahead and do white and black paint on these and then add this to it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first mark with a pencil where the black needs to end. Okay, let's get the white and black paint out. Okay, I have those out, and I am noticing that the black on this paper is more like a charcoal black. It's not a complete brilliant black. And I'm going to just take some black, and I remember my paper is going to go up to this line here, so I just need to go a little over that. There we go. But it's okay with me that this is a little darker than that paper, because I think I may glitter it or something to do to accent it so that we know for sure that it's different than the rest of the paper on purpose. I have trimmed down this paper so it's not quite as big. I'm just going to Mod Podge and put it right there, and Mod Podge this and put it right there. The trick will be, and I will trim off the extra here, but the trick is going to be holding this up while I'm doing that. So I'm thinking, yes, what I think I'm going to do is tie something between these two holes, tie it together, and force it to stay open like this. Okay, there you see I've tied something to hold that clasp open. I hope it stays and doesn't just come springing down on my hand. So let's get some Mod Podge in here. I need to work rather quickly and get all the way up in there. Yay! I have the paper glued down with the Mod Podge, and I released this from being tied together. That was a really helpful thing for me to do. It really was enabled me to get this done without trying to hold it open with one hand. So in the meantime, I just cut up some of the paper from the collection. I have this little turquoise strip here, and I just zigzag sewed across that. I have one of the cards from the pack and a sticker from the pack, and I just happen to have some of this rickrack that I had gotten on clearance somewhere, and it's almost the same color. And I also took this green and the black from the pack, very high quality paper. It's Brazil. And this little calendar I found in one of those ones that got mailed to me free. So, and I have a little tab punch, and I used that to make a tab and sew that on, and I wrote 2017. And what I thought I would do is I'm kind of dividing this into sections here, and I thought I would just use a binder clip like that to keep that on there, and I can change it for the next year. And it, like I said, it's just going to be a wall decoration, but it would be cute to have it functional to have this on there as well. And let me glue some of this stuff on there, get some of that thread off of there. And this side is really all knotted up. Well, why is this clogging? Of course, I have another one that's crafter's pick, and this one tends to take longer to dry, but hopefully, since it's not clogged, I can get this project underway. Okay. Push that down. And I love these cards for this stack, this paper pack, because they are double-sided. You could choose whichever side you want, but since I already had a lot of white in my background, I didn't want to use the white side in this. I wanted the colorful one. I'm going to offset this down to the bottom instead of right in the middle, and there's a reason for that. And I will just attach this later, because what I want to do is I use this die set that she gave me from Kaisercraft, or Kaisercraft, and it's confetti, it's fireworks and streamers, so a lot of celebration going on here. I love what they did. They have this really heavy duty quality magnet that comes with it to hold your die in place, so it's wonderful. So if you use those Ziploc bags or those vinyl bags to keep your dies organized, you're going to love that. And I went ahead and I have some silver paper that I had on hand, and it's got a pattern on it, and I thought that punching out that would help because it would even look more like fireworks and streamers and confetti. So let's get this, and I have some of the Scotch quick dry adhesive in a fine line applicator, so let's see if I can get this out. I'm having a hard time because I cut my thumb. So this is the actual firework, and I want to put this on my project. And I love the fine tip applicator because that helps it to get all the little tiny places. I also have a Xyron sticker maker, but I thought it would be faster to do this on camera with that. So what I want to do is put my fireworks right there with some of the little streamers, some of the other pieces of the fireworks, the little sparks coming off of it nearby. So if I can pick up some of these little pieces. Hear my husband playing banjo music in the background. So I like the silver, and I like all this confetti and right in here, but I like the fact that this silver paper is helping me to bring out some real sparkle here. I love sparkle. Okay, so I have several pieces on there. You can see, I don't know if the glitter can really show up, but it is very glittery. I think I will decorate this, and I want to come back and I want to add some of this, which is the Nuvo drops. I want to add some of that on here as well. So I'm going to let this dry, and I will decorate this. So now what I've done is, for this area here, I've collected everything that I have in my stash that I think I might be interested in using. That would be silver, or one of these colors of blue, or this teal, or this pink, in white. And I've just put it in this little container right here. So the first thing I want to do is, I just found this at Michael's on the Christmas clearance, and it's really cute, and I thought that would be one way to kind of mask part of this paint up there. So I'm going to cut some of that off, and here we go. And I'm going to use a hot glue gun today, which, you know me, I usually prefer E6000. I'll make this a little long and I'll cut off the excess. Make 2 of those. But I'm going to use hot glue gun for expediency's sake today. Okay, let's turn that around. And I want to go right in the middle here. But you can see how fast hot glue is when you're doing this. Another thing that you can do is to use hot glue on the ends of something to get it to hold, and then use E6000 in the middle. The hot glue helps to hold it in place while you're waiting for that E6000 to dry or to set up. Let's see if I'm on camera there. So this allows the paint to show through, but kind of dull down the excessive shininess of that paint. Because remember, these are dull colors here, not dull, but you know, this is more of a charcoal black, not so much black. And the other thing I'm thinking is, let me trim this off, is I think I want to put some of that on the bottom. So come around here. I like the way this fringe, this eyelash fringe, sticks up from the top, and I'm thinking about the bottom here. I would just lay it across the bottom, but I'm thinking I don't want to dull my 1 there on that countdown. So I think I'll put it on the bottom. Yes, I'll put it on the bottom, and that will work. So the fringe will be sticking out from there. So I'm going to glue this to the very edge. Going to start a little, hot glue can set up too quickly, so you don't want to do too big of an area at once. So I'm going to do part of it and come back and do the rest. And remember, this is basically going to be like a wall decoration, so it's okay if it's got little fringes on it. It's not going to get abused in any way. That's cute. I like it. Okay. So, and it's all set up. Oh, and I love the way it just adds sparkle, and it adds more of the excitement of the fireworks here. I think another thing I'm going to do is, I have another firework. I think I'm going to add that one here and pop that up, that explosion, with a pop dot, and I think that will add some dimension here. This is just a pop dot from my stash, and I think that would be really cute to add that dimension right there. I can even offset it just a little bit. But see, I like the way that's sticking up there, and it gives this illusion of it exploding in air. Very cute. Okay, so now let's work on this right here. And what I had done is, I had found in my stash these clothespins, and I did glue one of the streamers from the die cutting set there. I think I may end up with that there. We'll see. We'll see what we end up with. And remember, this is still going to go there. So the first thing I want to do is to get some of these black and white flowers that came in my kit. There we go. And some of these are frosty. Very cute. The other thing I have is, now and then I have some of these little pearls that's still stuck there. And you can always put, oh, that would be cute, flat back resin pieces, like this is a flower. Put that right there in the middle of that. Now this color isn't exactly in here, but it's basically this color, but in a little paler version of it. I also have this little rosette, and I think I'm going to snip off the little wire here, or turn it sideways. I'll turn it sideways, that's really cute. And get that in there. And this looks like wax, sealing wax. I think it's too dark. Got a clear cabochon. I have this beautiful bow. I'm just kind of laying things there and seeing, you know, what that looks like. This piece here, kind of big. Got a cupcake, pinwheels. That might be cute too as part of a celebration, you know. The other thing we have is these Prima flowers here that are beautiful colors, and I'm thinking it's not too bold that one of these pink ones here might be this color. Let's try that. I think the smaller one here, right there. That's pretty close match. I think that would just really add some brilliancy. And since I'm not going to be using this clip, I can go ahead and cover that hole up with immunity. I think I can get away with that. That would be a good place to put that. There we go. Okay, now let's stick some of these in around the edges. I do have some of these little pieces here that say hope. There's some angel wings. Believe. Oh, I have to use this one. It says believe, but it's not silver. Uh-oh, I don't want to do that. I want to keep with the silver theme, but believe is my word for this year. However, I could use hope because that is my word for my whole life. So that's my lifelong word, and I thought I saw one in here. There's hope. Let's use that. And do I want to cut that off? No, I think I'll leave that on. I'll put that right in the corner here, just so you can see the word, and leave the little hook sticking out there because it's kind of cute. Angel wing. I think if I put that little angel wing there, I can cover that the little eye on it with something else. But I think that's really cute. Now for this one, I do want to, this is a key, and I want to snip that little hook off there. Okay. I'll put that key right in here. There we go. Great. Okay, I've got something clear there, something blue. It's kind of balanced in a way, but I think I want to put something right there to sort of cover up the hook on, or the hole on that angel wing right there, like that. Okay, so that's good. Let's collect these and set those aside. There's a close-up of that. Now what I'm thinking, I might go through my collection and look for tiny little pearls or rhinestones to go in the middle of the flowers. Hold on. Okay, here's what I found. I have these beautiful little pearly stars and some rhinestones as well. The rhinestones are a little large, so they're probably going to need to go into the big flowers here. I like to use tweezers to get for the fine detail, to get those in there, if I can get them in. There's that. Let's see where I can get that star in, right in the middle of the black one. It probably wouldn't show up on the white flowers, but it sure will on the black. Yeah, the edges are very glue strings. Glue boogers. You know what happened is my glue is probably, I'm just going to touch it with the heat thing to set it, melt it a little more. There you go. Last thing I was thinking of is using this Nuvo jewel drops, and this one here is a translucent. It just adds a pretty shimmery tint, and I do want to get the little dome effect. The lovely thing about Nuvo drops is you can store them like this. You know, with a lot of the other drops and stickles and stuff, you have to store them this way. These ones continue to work. They don't seem to get a lot of air bubbles in them, and I love the little diamond on top. It's so cute. So you can get the air out when you turn it upside down. What I'm thinking of is accenting some of the confetti, colored confetti here, so that it really brings dimension to it. Now I don't want to cover up too much of this, because I want to remember that I am going to be putting this there. So I'm going to put it there as a placeholder and just go around and highlight some of these pink circles in the confetti. Now, normally I wouldn't have to swirl this around. Oh, there's a blue one too. I want to do the circle ones. Normally I wouldn't have to swirl it around, but these are rather large circles to normally just to do one, and I'll just do a plain one here. You just kind of press it and lift it up. It looks like a chocolate chip shape when you bring the tube up. In other words, it brings it leaves a little spike on it. But as it settles, that little spike disappears and it becomes a nice, perfect dome when you're done. So I'm just going to go through here. Now the trick is, if you know me at all, I have a really hard time leaving things alone while they're drying. I keep wanting to come back and seeing if they're dry. And how do I see that? I touch it. I touch it and say, is this dry yet? And then, so I'm trying very hard. I'm going to walk away from this, and I'm not going to touch it. Now I don't have an answer as far as how long it really takes these to dry. I think I just put my finger in this one. accidentally. Always work top down, but I forgot and I saw some more and I moved back up again. So I did touch this one. I'm going to fix that up a little bit. So that is very cute. I'm going to let this dry. I will take some photos and I'll have a photo collage at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for watching. I love this whole idea. I love the color theme. You know, these are beautiful colors for the new year, and they really work together well. So that is this project. And the other thing you can do throughout the year, if you don't want a calendar on there, and you can still put one for the next year, but you can take it off and put your favorite verse on there, or your word for the year, like mine for this year is believe. I can put the word believe, and every year, because I did not put 2017 anywhere on here, every year I can put my word and just clip it on there. That is going to be fun. Or you can use this in a kitchen or something and put a reminder on there for whatever you need to be reminded of. But this is great. Best year ever. So no matter what year it's going to be, this is going to be the best year ever. Stay tuned for the photos.